The Dream and the White Elephant. Long ago, at the foothills of the mighty, snow-capped Himalayas, lay the prosperous kingdom of Kapilavastu. Ruled by the noble king Suddhodana of the Gautama clan, it was a land untouched by sorrow, where peace reigned supreme and wealth flowed like rivers. At the heart of the palace lived Queen Maya, a woman of peerless grace, immense wisdom, and boundless compassion. Though she and the king had been married for many years, they remained childless, praying deeply for an heir to the throne. It was on the night of the full moon, when the entire kingdom lay asleep under the watchful gaze of the silent mountains. The stars aligned over Kapilavastu, setting the stage for a moment that would alter the course of human history. Inside the quiet sanctuary of the royal chambers, Queen Maya lay in a deep, peaceful sleep, wrapped in the serene stillness of the midnight hour. In her sleep, a strange light began to fill the room. A massive white elephant, radiant as a galaxy, materialized right beside her bed. In its trunk, the creature held a pure white lotus flower. It moved closer, gently placing the glowing blossom onto her heart. As the lotus touched her, it dissolved into a wave of golden energy. The divine light swirled softly through the air, merging directly into her side. Queen Maya opened her eyes as the first rays of morning light broke through the window. The dream was over, but her heart was filled with a profound, unexplainable peace. Seeking her husband in the morning pavilion, Queen Maya held his hands and spoke words that shook the king to his core. She told him, "Suddhodana, the celestial elephant of my dream did not just pass by, it dissolved into my very body, entering my womb. I feel a divine life waking inside me." Looking down at her radiant face, the king realized the truth: the queen was miraculously with child. To understand that, the king immediately summoned the most revered Brahmins. But as they arrived at the palace gates, an uneasy silence fell over Kapilavastu. In the heart of the great hall, the oldest sage, Asita, examined the sacred charts. The court held its collective breath as he looked up, his face etched with wonder. The old sage spoke with absolute certainty. "If your son stays here, he will rule the entire world as a conqueror. But if he sees the truth of life, he will abandon everything to end human suffering." Fear gripped King Suddhodana's heart at the thought of losing his heir to a life of poverty. Standing before his court, he fiercely defied the heavens, vowing, "My son will never abandon his birthright. He will be an emperor of emperors." On the spot, the king issued a strict royal decree: no mention of old age, sickness, or death would ever be allowed within the palace walls, keeping the harsh truths of the world completely hidden from the unborn prince. As the months passed, a strange and beautiful grace settled over the kingdom. Queen Maya felt no pain, sickness, or heaviness from her pregnancy. Instead, her mind remained completely free of negative thoughts, and her days were spent in quiet reflection and boundless charity, handing food and garments to the poor from her palace windows. As the divine child remained in the womb for 10 lunar months, a traditional sign of a fully matured, miraculous birth. As her time finally drew near, Queen Maya approached the king at sunset, asking for his blessing to travel to her birthplace, the kingdom of Devadaha, to give birth in her mother's home according to strict custom. The king granted her request instantly, ordering a grand royal procession to ensure her absolute safety. Surrounded by a massive escort of noble guards, elegant handmaidens, and standard-bearers, Queen Maya departed the stone gates of Kapilavastu, journeying gracefully toward her maternal home. Halfway to her destination, the procession reached the beautiful Lumbini Grove, a park shared by both kingdoms. The garden was in magnificent full bloom, teeming with vibrant flowers and singing birds. Captivated by its heavenly peace, Queen Maya commanded her escort to halt so she could walk among the blossoming trees. Walking deeper into the grove, the queen approached a magnificent sal tree. As she reached out, the great branch miraculously bent down to meet her hand. The moment she grasped it, the heavens fell silent. Without a single wave of pain or distress, Queen Maya knew that the moment of the divine birth had finally arrived. And there, shielded by sheer silk and a canopy of blossoms, the ultimate miracle unfolded. Free from any pain or exhaustion, Queen Maya reclined in absolute peace as her handmaidens gently presented her newborn son. Bathed in a brilliant, golden celestial light, the infant prince reached out toward his mother, filling the sacred grove with an undeniable divine presence. Placed gently upon the earth, the newborn prince staggered not, but stood upright on his own feet. Facing the north, he took 7 deliberate steps forward, and with each miraculous stride, a pristine lotus flower burst from the soil to catch his feet. Stopping on the 7th lotus, he raised his hand to the sky and declared, "I am the supreme being of this world, this is my final birth." The news of the miraculous birth spread like wildfire across the land. As the royal procession neared the towering gates of Kapilavastu, the entire city erupted in joy. Escorted by hundreds of dancing citizens and brave warriors, Queen Maya and the infant prince made their triumphant return, welcomed by a rain of flowers and the thunderous cheers of a kingdom that now held its future Buddha. As the celebrations reached a peak, a revered guest arrived unannounced at the palace gates. The ancient hermit Asita, having sensed a massive cosmic shift from his dwelling in the high mountains, had rushed down to the capital, demanding to see the newborn child who had shaken the spiritual world. King Siddhartha proudly presented his newborn son to the holy man, expecting a grand blessing. But as Asita took the radiant child into his arms, his spiritual vision pierced through time. Instead of smiling, the old sage began to weep openly. Panic swept through the court, and the king cried out, "Why do you weep, Holy Father? Is there an evil omen hanging over my son?" The old sage shook his head, a peaceful smile breaking through his tears. "Fear not, O king," Asita whispered. "Your son faces no evil omen. I weep only for myself, because I will leave this world before he grows old enough to teach. If he stays in the palace, he will become a king ruling the entire earth. But if he witnesses the world's pain, he will abandon the throne, achieve perfect enlightenment, and become the supreme Buddha." King Siddhartha summoned the 8 wisest scholars of the realm to name the child Siddhartha, meaning, "he who achieves his goal." While 7 elderly sages hesitated, predicting a dual destiny, the youngest scholar, Kondana, stepped forward with absolute certainty. Raising a single finger to the heavens, he declared, "The prince will not stay in the palace. He will witness suffering, leave the throne, and surely become the supreme Buddha." Kondana's prophecy struck like a dagger. Driven by an overwhelming fear of losing his only heir to the path of a wandering monk, King Siddhartha took drastic action. That very day, he issued a strict royal decree, commanding the construction of massive, pleasure-filled palaces designed to trap Siddhartha in an artificial world. Every sign of age, sickness, and death was immediately banished, creating a beautiful prison of denial. Exactly 7 days after giving birth, having fulfilled her sacred and monumental cosmic purpose, Queen Maya passed away peacefully. Her heart knew no suffering as her spirit smoothly ascended to the heavenly realms. Amidst the deep sorrow of King Siddhartha, the responsibility of raising the extraordinary child fell to Maya's devoted sister, Mahapajapati. Little did the kingdom know, the beautiful prison designed to shield the prince was now his reality.